Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team. Veterinarian Dr. Debbie White, dog trainer Alan Cable, groomer Joy Villani, communicator Joy Turner, and here are your hosts, Al Abrams and Judy Francis.
I don't know about you, that guy seems to be growing on me there. He's not as child molester as he sounded, 3 weeks ago? Yeah.
I think he's jazzy. I kind of like that.
You like he has a very white kind of sound.
I like it.
If you want to know what gets Dr. Debbie excited.
We have our answer.
We found it. Yeah. I think we found it.
Big show for you today. In a few minutes, we'll talk to comedian Brian Donnelly, who will be joining us, Boston comedian. Also, we're going to be talking to a lady who's taking dogs to LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, and she's de-stressing passengers, should we say? Exactly. Taking them around to meet people that look stressed from traveling, because traveling is very stressful. Hey, Stacy, you look so cheerful.
Does your dog seem like he's got the munchies all the time?
He does.
Just kind of wants to sit back and take in the view from maybe your couch, not move around a whole lot? Has your dog said, "Hey, dude"? Well, it could be. Your dog's getting high on pot. There's a big problem with this in Colorado. I'll tell you about it coming up on Animal Radio News.
That is exactly how Ladybug acts.
Hey. Yeah, don't you even. No, you know that is horrible. I mean, I've had pets that almost die from getting into either pot brownies or someone's stash somewhere, so it's serious.
When they come into your office, they don't tell you naturally what it is, and you have to figure it out, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And it's usually like people are, eyes are going sideways like, oh, I can't see anything. My mom's in the room, or, and I've had family members blame it on, someone must have thrown something over the wall. And it's like, come on, it's from your stash under the bed, man. You could smell it on you.
That almost happened to me once. I'm not lying. I almost died from that.
From?
Well, I was living with this guy, and I came home from work, and he baked these brownies, and he was in the shower, and at that time I was pretty fat, and I love sweets, and I started eating these things. And I ate like 12, and he comes out of the bathroom. He goes, "Where are the brownies?" And I go, "I've been eating them." And he goes, "You ate all those?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I baked those with pot." And I was so messed up. I'm not kidding. That's why my brain doesn't work anymore. I mean, to this day, I couldn't talk for 2 days. It was awful.
That's like the Cheech and Chong movie.
You just ate the most acid I've ever seen anybody eat in my life.
Yep, that actually happened. I mean, that was I'll never forget that. Or maybe I did forget it. I don't know. Either one. It was terrible.
Another stimulating edition of Will Dr. Debbie Get Excited? Coming up in just a few minutes.
It's just a bit, Dr. Debbie. It's like a radio bit. You know what I mean?
I'm practicing my stern, uninterested face.
That's your stern?
Hard.
Wow.
Hard for you to do.
Yep. Do I sound unexcited about this?
Yes. Well, today's Dr. Debbie, will this get the Dr. Debbie excited, concerns desert rats and also the incredible silkworm moth.
Wow, that's incredible. And we actually got a sponsor for it, believe that or not. I don't know. This is for Alan, is that correct, Miss Judith Francis? We head to Aaron. Hey, Aaron, how are you doing?
I'm doing just fine, sir. How are you?
Good. What's going on in your world?
Well, I've got a 2.5-year-old Brittany Spaniel male that I adopted from an ad in the paper that said "free to good home." And, he's a very outgoing dog, for a Brittany. I know they're outgoing and friendly and all that, which is why I like them. But I have the sneaky suspicion he's been abused, and trying to figure out what I can do to help, bring him back, He's real leery of males.
So, Aaron, let me ask you a question. You're such a good guy to care and to want to give your dog confidence. When you come home, let's say you come home, what does the dog do when he first sees you?
Well, they run around, give a couple of little barks, nothing big, just to, kind of announce them, hey, Dad's home, cool. I've got them in an enclosure so they can't, run wild and get out on the road and get hit or anything.
So what makes you think this dog is afraid of you? I mean, how does the dog show you he's afraid of you?
Like when me or my son will go out to feed him, he will cower down and, show like, okay, yeah, he's almost showing like he's being dominated. And
when a dog, when he cowers down, do you mean he rolls over on his back or he just puts his head down? What does he do?
He will put his head down, or sometimes just go right down to the ground on his belly, like almost like he's expecting to get hit.
Well, he's not, I don't want to say he's expecting to get hit. What he is doing, he's being totally submissive to you. He's letting you know that you're in charge, that he recognizes you as his leader. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. But for a dog that's been hit or a dog that lacks confidence, the best thing you can do, again, it all starts with the walk, my man. Put him on a leash, take him for a walk every day, 20-minute, 30-minute walk. He's walking at your side. You're calm and confident. He gets that energy from you, that calm, confident energy, and then you praise him for, having a good walk, or whenever he does something you like, you tell him, good boy. So you teach him a trick like sit and stay, and make him stay there for 30, 40, 50 seconds, give him a treat, tell him, good boy. And he'll have a sense of accomplishing something, and that increases a dog's confidence. Whenever a dog achieves success, a dog gets confidence when you praise them.
Well, as I told your screener when I called a while ago, like I said, with me or my son, any male gets near him, he cowers down. But
he's showing submission.
Near him, he'll come right up to my wife and my daughter, and he's got no issue with that.
Well,
Now,
buddy, it all starts with you. It all starts with you and you taking your dog for daily walks and then teaching males how to approach your dog. And so when you approach your dog, if you tower over your dog, that makes the dog fearful. It also, a weak, insecure dog will definitely cower. What you want to do is kneel down alongside the dog, look straight ahead, and pet your dog from the side and give the dog confidence. You're the one who's going to give that dog confidence and teach the dog that, he doesn't have to be afraid. He doesn't have to cower down. But, that doesn't show fear. That's just showing dominance. When a dog cowers down or bends down or rolls over, dog's just being submissive to you and showing you that, yes, you are in charge. That's all that is. And some dogs are strong, confident dogs. Some dogs are weak dogs. Some dogs are born with it. Some dogs are abused, and that's how they get it. But if you walk your dog every day, and spend time with your dog will gain confidence. And that's what you want to give your dog.
Well, I spend as much time as I can working with him and all that, but I'm an over-the-road truck driver, so I'm gone most of the week. But, we do work with him, and I don't yell at him, don't raise my voice.
But do you walk him? Do you walk him?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Walk him every day, every chance you get, whenever you're home, 20, 30 minutes a day. Just him, on a leash.
Okay.
And you will see, as you praise him, don't feel sorry for him, though. Just praise him when he does something you like. And no parade. Just, hey, you're a good boy. Good job. That's it. And then move on.
Well, I thank you very much for that.
Hey, thanks for
You're
your
welcome,
call.
buddy.
Always welcome.
Are you stuttering again, Hal? Sorry, I just spit on the microphone.
I love to do that to women. I bring out the drool.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Hal. How you doing, buddy? Hello, Dr. Debbie, the ever-bubbly veterinarian. I have a question for you.
Okay.
I am looking at possibly adopting another fur kid, and she is a rescue dog. Not sure on her age, but she has scoliosis, the permanent curvature of her back. She's a little French bulldog.
Okay.
Gets around really good. And I was just kind of curious, what would I have to look forward to in the future as to where, for being a truck driver, being able to have her in the truck with me, is it a possibility that something could go really bad wrong and she'd lose her use of her back legs?
Well, there's some concern. And when we talk about bulldogs and Frenchies, English bulldogs, they're prone to a type of vertebra deformity, usually born with it. And it can cause scoliosis or what we call kyphosis, which is a kind of, instead of side-to-side deformity, up and down deformity. But basically, if that's present in the neck or the upper back area, we're not likely to have any major problems. When it occurs in the lower back, that might pose more of a risk down the road. And the concern would be is that, those misshapen vertebrae can put pressure on the spinal cord, and we can basically run into signs of intervertebral disc problems, pain, wobbliness in the back legs, weakness, and definitely, varying degrees of pain. So that would be my number one question. Maybe as you're looking at adopting this baby, is what areas has an X-ray been done? If not, I would definitely shoot one, because if you see the visible deformity, that says, yeah, there's a problem there. But there could be other locations that might need to be picked up by X-ray.
In the pictures and the little video they got of her, you can see where it's really bad, because actually she kind of will be standing there and one paw won't be touching the ground on the back and the other one will be almost all the way over to her right-hand side standing
Wow.
there.
So she already has a pretty good disability then with that.
Yeah, but she just gets around really good from what I can tell. Actually, you can ask Judy, and she saw the little video on her.
Yeah, she hops around like a little frog, but you can tell it's back, and her back end is really curved around to going towards her front end.
Yeah, and really for me, just having the scoliosis is not necessarily a problem by itself, but it really is the degree of impingement we might have on the spine and her comfort level. So if I had her here in front of me, what I would do is do a good neurologic exam, kind of test her nerve function to her feet and feel along her spine. If we picked up any pain along anywhere, then those might be some signs that, we could anticipate some serious problems. But definitely I'd say an X-ray of that lower back would make me feel better to, kind of give you more odds as far as how big of a problem she could have, with some pain down the road. So I didn't answer that question for you, did I?
Yeah, but I just wanted to call and find out, because you got all sorts of answers, and you always have really good answers, Dr. Debbie.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And hopefully this little baby is going to find her way into your life. And, special needs dogs are, they're a tough adoption. So I would certainly commend you. Shower with lots of love.
Do your dogs go nuts when they hear fireworks or during a bad thunderstorm? It's not their fault. They have sensitive ears. You love your dog, and so do we. That's why we developed a perfect solution for your loved pets by eliminating the harmful noise. It's called Doggy Hush, a unique waterproof set of headphones that go over your dog's ears. They're so comfortable, your dog won't even know they're wearing them. And when this happens, your dog will feel and stay safe and stress-free. Go to doggyhush.com. Enter the promo code we're about to give you for a free special gift. Again, buy Doggy Hush for your dog today and protect your dog's ears from fireworks, thunderstorms, and a lot more harmful noises. Go to doggyhush.com and enter this promo code, Radio4. Radio and the number 4. Go to doggyhush.com right now and enter the promo code Radio4. Again, that's promo code Radio4.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
It's Animal Radio, my friend. Toll free to Dr. Debbie, dog trainer Alan Cable, dog father Joey Villani, animal communicator Joey Turner, and we go to Patty. I guess I got to hit this button over here. Sorry about that. Hey, Patty, how are you doing?
Well, I have a cat that I'm having some problems with. I switched him to raw food back in August, and he was doing pretty well, and he was eating a lot. It seemed like his metabolism really increased, but he started dropping a lot of weight. And I was starting to get really worried, took him to the vet. All the tests came back fine, and we think maybe I was making their food a little too lean. So switch up the food a little bit. Now he just doesn't want to eat, and he's still losing weight, and I just don't know what to do.
And you wanted to talk to Joy about this?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's helped me in the past.
Okay.
Okay, so Patty, tell me the name of your kitty.
Charlie.
Okay, so hold on a second. I have a feeling what I'll do is tell you what Charlie's feeling like, and then we'll probably pass you over to Dr. Debbie. Okay, so let me say hi to Charlie. Charlie says he thinks the reason that he was eating so much in the beginning is because he felt like he never ate until he ate that food. And then he got really full, and he feels like he doesn't need to eat as much right now. And so I'm telling him, well, that's good. And how's he feeling? He says, well, he thinks he's feeling good, but he's feeling a little bit, he wants to call it lethargic.
He's missing some teeth, and I have no clue when that happened.
He says, they just fell out. He's not really worried about those. But, I think, again, and you can talk to Debbie about this, I think that's maybe a thing your vet needs to pay more attention to.
Yeah, and definitely, I don't know what specific tests your veterinarian has done so far. Were they mostly
did
lab?
A full urinary and blood work as well, because we were originally concerned that it would be hyperthyroid, and it didn't come back at all. Everything was within normal range.
Okay. All right. And because that's definitely one of the main things when I think of a senior kitty that's losing weight. We look at the kidneys, we look at the thyroid, we look to see if they're diabetic. And then from there, if we have digestive signs at all in a senior kitty, a double-digit kitty, as I like to call them, then I look in the belly because some things aren't always very apparent on some of the testing. So often I'll do x-rays or even sometimes in the course of a physical exam, there may be something very subtle that we might note, whether it's a change in the stool consistency or the bowel loops might feel a little bit more thickened. Because older cats can have some tendencies towards inflammatory bowel disease or even types of cancers in the digestive tract. So if we're not finding anything else on the lab work, that might be the next route that I would tend to look at to try to solve that puzzle. And I'd agree that, even being on a good lean diet, cats don't lose weight easily. So if your older kitty is dropping weight notably, then there's usually some cause for that. It's just a matter of getting to the root of it and kind of ferreting it out, if you will.
That's... in the beginning, when I switched him to the raw, he was eating an awful lot. And then everybody I've talked to who's dealt with, transitioning cats to raw, they said sometimes that happens as their body's just clearing out all the other stuff and their metabolism does kick up a bunch. But it seemed like then all of a sudden it just kind of dropped off. But he was losing weight when he was eating like crazy. That's why we thought, let's see, in October he was 12 pounds. He's a little over 9 pounds now. And the second opinion that I got yesterday said that she goes, he's very lean, like an athlete lean. And it just seems like we're always struggling with the food because sometimes he'll act like he's hungry and he'll be in front of a bowl of food and cry like he's hungry.
Okay. Then I'm going to tell you, there's something going on here. And it may be difficult for me to truly help you without putting my eyes, ears, and hands on your pet, because dental disease can cause, pets to not eat, but it's usually not until things are very advanced. So for me, I would certainly, if I felt any kind of nodule in the thyroid, any kind of lump in that area, oftentimes I will actually send the thyroid panel out to some of the specialized hormone labs. So even if my regular local lab comes up normal and I'm still suspicious, there are different types of thyroid tests that can be done to look at that in other directions. So that might be one thing, but definitely having a good oral exam, and if there's anything else at all related in the upper ear, the neck, then those might be avenues that we look at reasons why we don't want to eat, and making sure something as simple as the ears are good, because I have had pets where
she looked at all of that. She did a pretty thorough exam on him the other day. And he was just in 3 weeks before. And I'm sure my stress level on the whole matter isn't helping.
Yeah.
And, because I have one that's a really chubby cat, which is also one reason why I had to, in switching to raw, which I think overall worked out really good for him. And I would put Charlie on non-raw if I needed to, but I'm just afraid that he's just going to keep losing weight.
I guess I'm not a raw food proponent, but I guess the common sense thing that I would say is if he was heavier before and we're worried about the weight loss now and you're not comfortable doing more testing or looking further, I'd have to advocate going back to the food he was on and just seeing how he stabilizes and see if he continues to lose weight. If he does, you have a simple answer there that you've got something you need to look at.
Right, I know, but I was dealing with food allergies with both of them, and raw food seemed to be the way. And actually, he looks yes, I think he's losing a little too much weight, but he looks so much better. His coat's better. His activity levels, I think, better. I was just hoping, maybe he would be able to tell me a little bit more of what the heck is going on with him because he's driving me nuts.
Well, good luck with that.
1-866-405-8405.
Dr. Debbie, you're like the house of the veterinary world. It's not good enough that you send a pet to your lab. You're like, I've got to find the answer. I've got to find another lab.
It's so funny you say that because I was watching House when I was on the treadmill this morning at 4 a.m. I know, I get up that early. It is insane. But you know what? It is the greatest thing because I love watching the episodes, and so I stay on the treadmill longer because I don't want to miss the ending. So
I wish you'd be my vet, Dr. Debbie. I'd come to you if I didn't think you'd run me over in the parking lot.
I would love to go on vacation, but I don't want to leave our Charlie behind.
I agree. I heard that the magazine Fido Friendly lists places where you can stay with your pet. They also offer reviews so you have an idea about pet policy to include any restrictions, fees, and what pet amenities to expect.
That's, dare I say, awesome. What are we waiting for?
I'm way ahead of you. I just logged on to FidoFriendly.com and found a 4-star resort. Hilton Santa Fe Resort and Spa at Buffalo Thunder in New Mexico.
Charlie agrees. When do we leave?
As soon as you can pack your bags. It's off to adventure with Charlie, thanks to Fido Friendly Magazine. To find your next family adventure that includes your furry family friend, log on to FidoFriendly.com.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Stacy Cohen for Animal Radio. Well, when a disaster strikes, immediate measures are taken, usually to save human lives. But the loss of animals has a huge impact on livelihoods, especially in a place like Asia, where 70% of the population is dependent on farming. So New Delhi had a conference with the NDMA, that's the National Disaster Management Authority, and they were trying to help people in the farming areas, and they've released some national guidelines on biological disaster management, which also included a special chapter on animal disaster management. The idea of the conference was to integrate all stakeholders, sensitize them about the guidelines, and then increase connectivity at the grassroots level. They pursued a policy of holistic disaster management. NDMA co-hosted the conference along with the World Society for the Protection of Animals, which has been working with governments across the globe during disasters. An animal rescue worker received a rescue of her own when her dog alerted her to a cancerous growth that was in her breast. This is crazy. Miriam Cooper, she's 57, she knew something was up. Her 6-year-old pug, Flo, kept repeatedly nudging her right breast. The Birmingham, UK woman performed a self-exam and realized that, you know what, I got a lump. So she got medical attention and she was declared cancer-free in December. She said that I thought she was just being annoying, but without her, I'd probably be dead. The lump was so deep, I wouldn't have ever found it without Flo the Wonder Pug. Doctors told Cooper she had a grade 3 malignant tumor, and at this stage, tumors are expected to grow pretty fast. But her tumor was discovered in time, so they could remove it. Flo isn't the only dog to help sniff out disease. Cancer-sniffing dogs are a growing area of medical research. Scientists around the globe have studied dogs' ability to detect bladder cancer from urine samples and lung and ovarian cancers by sniffing a person's breath, to name a few examples. Flo can't understand what she's done for me, said Cooper, but she did treat her dog to a big, juicy steak after she returned home from the hospital. I'm Stacy Cohen. Get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
What's up, everybody? My name is George Lopez. I don't know how I became a crazy dog person, but I rescue Chihuahuas. Yeah, they rescued me from probably getting remarried. Come on. You know, these dogs are incredibly helpful to all of our lives, and I think that's what it's all about. I'm glad they can't talk, though, because I don't need to have anybody know how many times I come down in the middle of the night for something to eat.
Please, always adopt dogs. Never buy them. And always spay or neuter.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Well, you lucky dog, don't forget you can get your fix of Animal Radio anytime you want with the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. Download it now. It's made possible by Fear-Free Happy Homes, helping your pets live their happiest, healthiest, fullest lives at home, at the vet, and everywhere in between. Visit them at fearfreehappyhomes.com. And thanks, Fear-Free, for underwriting Animal Radio. We are just moments away from another stimulating episode of Will
Let's get Dr. Debbie excited.
Thank you. I'm glad. That's the title. We're going to stick with that?
Yes.
Oh, this is really cool. This is happening at LAX. Is that correct? Okay. We have Heidi Huebner on the phone. Hi, Heidi. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am just so excited. All of Twitter about what you guys are doing at LAX. You're taking dogs out to LAX. LAX, for those of you that don't know, is the Los Angeles International Airport. And you're having them, calm, stressed passengers?
We are. Traveling can be stressful sometimes. So we have our therapy dogs that will be behind screening to de-stress passengers. Somebody might be leaving and missing their dog. They can come, up and get some love. Kids, adults, you name it. Anybody who wants to pet a dog, we've got them there.
This is a great idea. Awesome. Who came up with this idea? Was it a happy hour idea that you guys all were sitting around after work drinking and saying, why don't we take the dogs out to LAX?
No, it's interesting. San Jose Airport has the same program. They launched 10 years ago. And somebody caught wind in upper management about the program, and they said, Heidi, this is something we want to do. You're our animal expert and animal lover. How can we do this? And I took the ball and ran with it.
Where did the dogs come from?
The dogs are with Therapy Dogs, Inc., which is a national nonprofit organization that has therapy dog programs all over the United States.
How's it working so far? Are the passengers enjoying this?
You guys, it's been such a success. I mean, when you see people start smiling and you feel the stress level lower immediately, and strangers start talking to each other, and just the comments that they make saying, man, I had the worst traffic getting here, but this has made it all better, or maybe somebody's flight is delayed, and they just smile and say, thank you so much for this. This has just brightened up my whole day.
Oh, I love it. What do you think about this, Alan? Isn't this a great...
It's awesome. Did you have to get, because, when people are happy, that unhappy people try to stop that from happening. How did you get permission to do this? I mean, it's a wonderful idea.
Well, thank you. Our executive director, Gina Marie Lindsay, she's wonderful about embracing new programs and anything to make the passenger experience better at LAX. So when we presented this idea to her, and she said, you know what, make it happen. I think this is fantastic. And, I'm hoping that more airports will want to do the same program, and they can contact me. I will help them in any way that I can.
How can they contact you?
They can visit the website, which is www.lawa.org/VIP.
This is a fabulous idea, I think, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but what about, have you had any kind of repercussions with folks with animal allergies? Is that something that's come up yet?
That's a really good question, and we did have somebody, say they had allergies, and the volunteers go through a training with me in case a situation like that would come up. And, they acknowledge the passengers, saying thank you so much for letting me know, and they move the dog away to an area away from them. And the same thing, too, let's say somebody just isn't an animal lover. That's okay. They let the volunteer know, and the volunteer, have a great flight, have a good day, and they move on to the people who would like to see the dog.
These dogs wear uniforms, so you can identify them, right?
Right. They have a red vest that has the Pup logo on it, as well as Pet Me, because we want passengers to know that, yes, these are, our airport dogs that you can go up and pet. They're not working dogs, with like the canine unit or somebody's personal dog or a service dog. And then the volunteers also wear red vests as well.
Hey, if you ever want to have some fun, just march one of those dogs into the cockpit of the plane with the passengers already loaded and tell the passengers it's a new program. This dog is going to be flying the plane.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, I just love what you're doing, and we'll put links to learn more over at the Animal Radio website. Heidi Huebner joining us, and the new program at LAX to calm passengers with dogs. So if you're heading through LAX, catching your flight, you see one of these dogs in these uniforms, go on by and pet them. I'm going to put on a Pet Me shirt. I'd like to get...
That's funny. You guys, thank you so much for having me on. I really, really appreciate it.
Take care. Have a great day now.
That's the best idea I've ever heard on this show. That's stellar.
Next weekend, we have Emmylou Harris. Is that correct?
The one and only.
This will be her second time on Animal Radio, and she's having a concert called Wolfstock. And she'll be joining us and telling us about that all next week right here on Animal Radio.
Vinnie Penn coming at you, your resident party animal on Animal Radio. topic today, of course, is going to be animal communicators. Now, admittedly, I don't know much about this, nor do I even understand it. The dog whisperer, all of this whispering. I wish there was more whispering going on in my house, to tell you the truth. Although when I do hear whispering in my house, I do get very suspicious. And not that a surprise party is going to be thrown for me. These animal communicators, I don't necessarily understand how they study this, how they become an expert in this. I remember at one time on my old radio show, a female listener calling in and saying that she had a new boyfriend whom her cat seemed to attack every time in the middle of the night. My, of course, immediate suggestion was maybe he shouldn't be sleeping over so quickly. Come to think of it, she never called in the show again after that. Her belief was that the cat didn't like the boyfriend, and she wanted to find out why, and she brought in the animal communicator who said the cat was feeling envious, it was infringing upon her turf, all of these things that really any schmo would have known right out of the gate. She, of course, had to pay a communicator to come in and help her figure that stuff out. I say, how do you know this guy wasn't one of those guys who thinks it's funny to douse beer on the cat every time you leave the room? Guys are stupid like that, especially when they're dating. They think that kind of stuff is hysterical. Furthermore, in the animal communicating thing, when they find a cat or a dog calling one particular place in the house like their place and staring blankly at a picture on the wall, and they have something akin to a seance where they're looking at that photo. They're in touch with that person. Maybe they've been reincarnated. No, maybe you have mice, bugs. In any event, I don't want to kill an entire line of work, but animal communicator to me doesn't seem all that different from that lady that you used to call on the phone. What was her name? The Jamaican woman who was like, "Hello, woman, you're going to find love in your life." Unless you're my sister, anyone is going to. I'm Vinny Penn, party animal. Animal Radio.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you use insulin or have had hypoglycemic events, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. That's 800-434-5019.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Here's Hal and Judy.
Hey, Guy. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Where are you calling from today?
I am calling from Morro Bay, California.
Oh, beautiful. Are you listening on KVEC?
I am.
I love that station. That's our hometown station.
I was going to say, we've had quite a few callers from Morro Bay.
Okay, so you wanted to talk to Dr. Debbie, right?
Thanks for taking the call, Dr. Debbie, and your staff is very professional and persistent, so I feel fortunate.
Awesome. Well, good to hear that. How can I help you?
My question is regarding dental hygiene on dogs. And the question is regarding anesthesia, because the dogs frequently have to get put under anesthesia for a good, thorough dental cleaning. And the question is, are there certain protocols? My dog's 12 years old, has lost some weight recently, meaning losing weight would be she's a Bichon Frise. She went from 12 pounds to like 9.5 pounds.
Ooh, that's pretty substantial.
And so the question is anesthesia, and then what kind of protocol prior to anesthesia as far as blood tests, and are there any norms or what would be considered, conservative, precautions?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, you got a couple good questions kind of buried in there, so I'm going to break them apart. So the first question for your particular baby there, from dropping 12 pounds to 9.5. Now, have you been making efforts to get your baby to drop weight, or did that just kind of happen accidentally?
No, she's always been around, 12 pounds, and as she's getting older, she's becoming more finicky, and she's not really eating very well. So one of the thoughts is that her teeth are bothering her because there is some plaque and tartar, and maybe that's part of the problem. And so we're taking her to the schedule to go to the vet for teeth cleaning, and our concern is, anesthesia.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, for me, I can tell you, now, if you came to my office and we were talking this very conversation, before I'd say, oh, yeah, the weight loss is probably the teeth, in an older pet that's dropped weight in that kind of proportion, I'm going to recommend more of a medical workup before we talk about the teeth. Now, that is unless I see some big snaggly teeth hanging out your dog's mouth and clear abscesses there, where I can easily blame that on causing a pet not want to eat and to dropping weight. If I don't see that, then for me and an older pet, I really say, okay, let's back up a little bit. I'm not in a rush to put your pet under anesthesia. I want to make sure that there's not something else that we can attribute this weight loss to. And that might entail doing some baseline tests. They could be considered pre-surgical tests, but it's really more what we find dictates whether or not we go to that step. So basic blood work, a chemistry panel and a blood count. If anything came up on the physical exam, it wouldn't be out of line to do some x-rays, check that heart, see if there's anything big, any kind of masses, anything unusual going on internally. And then for some older pets, especially if they're in the double digits, I actually like to do a pre-surgical EKG just to check the electrical rhythm of the heart, make sure we don't pick up any arrhythmias or any kind of changes that might signal that there's a problem with the heart. Those would be things that we would definitely want to look at. But I think the basics are really for your baby to get a look at some lab work just to make sure we don't find any other kind of age-related chronic diseases that can come on.
Heart conditions and weight loss, are they common links to one another?
Not always directly with those things, but we can see some other problems that may be present that can attribute to the weight loss. So for those things, I'd be looking liver, kidneys, do we see any signs of anemia, any signs of evidence of tumors? Heart is really more for just kind of the anesthetic safety. So that isn't so much related to the weight loss itself, but more just, okay, we're talking about anesthesia. Let's make sure that this heart is doing what it should be doing and that we're not going to have any extra concerns with anesthesia. Now, the second part of what you were asking is do we take that into account as a veterinarian? If we have a old dog, if we have a fat dog, say if we have a Italian Greyhound, yes, all of these things mean something very specific to the veterinarian. And most veterinarians have different anesthetic protocols, so we don't treat everyone the same. If a young dog comes in for a healthy spay-neuter type surgery, we have kind of different cocktails or different protocols we might use for that pet versus the 12-year-old dog that we're concerned about anesthetic safety. Maybe we define some kind of health problem we're watchful for. Those pets, we're going to use different protocols, and there's kind of a whole combination of things that we look at and we administer to a pet going under anesthesia. So it's more than just gas. There's sedatives, there's medicines that kind of help regulate the heart rate, that decrease secretions in the airway. So there's a lot more in that injection that we give than you might think. So all of those things I'd say would be very important. Ask your veterinarian. Definitely, let him or her know that you have concerns about that. And you just want to kind of ask them, hey, what are you doing differently now than you did when you cleaned her teeth when, she was 2 years of age? And it's something that, we're all quite comfortable explaining because it is something we address the individual for anesthesia. So I hope that helps. Did that answer your question?
It does. So is there any kind of a threshold or precautionary threshold that would be, I don't know if I've used the word industry standard, but at one point in time, is it advisable to, because what I hearing you say, with my particular situation, to just put her under anesthesia without a workup would not be advisable.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. And in my office, I can tell you in this last month, we kind of had this big dental special and, there were some different discounts. And I actually sent 2 clients out the door mad at me because I would not put their pet under anesthesia for a dental cleaning because there's something on the physical exam that either kind of raised my interest or kind of sent some little red flags up. And, whether they didn't wish to look into that or they couldn't do that, it was just, in my opinion, it wasn't the safest thing for that pet.
With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Call us to get your Care Watch right now.
800-705-1198. 800-705-1198. 800-705-1198. That's 800-705-1198.
Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team, veterinarian Dr. Debbie White, dog trainer Alan Cable, groomer Joey Villani, communicator Joy Turner, and here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
We have comedian Brian Donnelly, who's using his dog, his little Boston Terrier, in his act, and he'll tell us all about that coming up in just a few minutes. Also, another stimulating edition of Will Dr. Debbie Get Excited? And this, of course, is Alan's new segment, which has already found a sponsor. What inspired this segment, Alan?
Well, you know, I really get a big chuckle, a big guffaw out of Dr. Debbie when she talks about gross stuff, and it really gets her intellectually intrigued. You know, the grosser the better, and it just made me laugh. And I thought, you know, one day I thought, I got to come up with something where I can try to get her intrigued every single week. So I came up with, I want to talk like an announcer guy. Will this guy get
Go ahead.
Will this get Dr. Debbie excited? So, first of all, you guys have to guess if this concerns the silkworm moth. The silkworm moth, and I'll bet that at least 9 of these are on Dr. Debbie's coffee table. But do you think this will get Dr. Debbie excited, Hal, Judy, and Joy? What do you think?
Well, does it involve smells? That's the kind of thing that excites her. It's hard to tell.
Extra genitals.
Yes, she loves that.
Oh, you're getting warmer. You're getting much warmer.
I think this is going to get her excited.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
All right.
Joy does
Dr.
too.
Debbie, the silkworm moth has 11 brains.
Oh.
Cool.
Is that exciting? Is that exciting?
That is.
Not exciting?
How big are they?
That's exciting. I don't know. I figured you had like 9 on your coffee table, and you could tell me.
You know what? That kind of gets me a little excited, but yeah, I still feel a little bit unsatisfied there. It's just like there's got to be more.
Okay, how about the desert rat? Will this get Dr. Debbie excited? This concerns the desert rat.
No.
I don't know. She seems kind of lackluster today. You know? She
I'm
doesn't
going to
really,
say no.
Yeah, I'm going to say
Yeah,
no.
All right. Well, all right. You guys enjoy. You could be wrong. The desert rat can copulate 122 times in an hour.
That's pretty cool.
I got Hal excited.
In 1 hour. Wow.
In 1 hour, yeah, 1 hour.
Okay.
And here's an extra added bonus for you. The membranes in a dog's nose, if unfolded and laid out, would be larger than the dog itself.
Holy moly. Did you know that, Dr. Debbie?
I have heard that somewhere along the road, but yeah, it would have been exciting maybe had I not heard that before. So sorry on that one.
I'm very excited about that the desert rat got to you. I'm very excited about that. I have a better guide of where to go next time. I'm learning. I'm learning, discovering, exploring, and growing.
Hi, Dina.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Save us.
Good.
We got to get off this track of conversation.
What's going on with your animal?
Good questions.
Well, I have she's a little over 5 years old. It's a Cavalier Poodle mix. About 2 years ago, she started chewing and licking her paws all night long. She also scratches under her chin. I've tried doing a topica. I've tried a different steroid. We've tried all kinds of things, and I don't know what to do. I can't keep her on the steroids, although her itching will stop. It's not good for her. And I wonder if there's anything, a homeopathic something other than vinegar that might help. Someone said do vinegar because it's a yeast buildup on her feet.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different, and many of the different skin products that your veterinarian might have some component of vinegar. It's usually not something very, purified. I shouldn't say we would not want to use pure vinegar on the feet. That would be a little too irritating.
Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of curious. So you've had your baby on a topica, steroids, and what else did you say?
I can't remember the name of the steroid. So And that was it. So she's tried those two things. I tried trimming, I keep her hair, because she doesn't shed, I keep her feet trimmed up pretty good between her toes. Mm-hmm. It's just she licks all night long. Neither one of us is getting sleep at this point.
Oh, dear. That's horrible.
I keep trying everything, and I keep going to the vet and spending lots of money on a dermatologist, but it's not seeming to give her any relief.
Okay. And for when I hear of, licking and chewing the paws, of course, allergy alert button goes way up. So that's definitely one of the main focuses. But we also don't want to forget some of those ongoing problems that can accompany allergies. And in the feet area, because it's kind of in between the webbing and there's that hair in there, we really have to be watchful for problems like yeast infections and bacterial infections in there. So that would be a big focus. And as much as you hate to spend more money at the vet, sometimes getting some samples from those areas and evaluating that and making sure we're treating that road.
I have. And she's gone through all the allergy tests and everything. She apparently is allergic to dust mites and grass.
Okay. And is she on allergy therapy right now? The injections?
No, it didn't work. We tried it for about 7 months.
Okay.
And it didn't really work. Nothing happened.
Okay. Yeah, and most dermatologists would tell you with allergy therapy, what we call immunotherapy, where you give the injections to desensitize your pet, that really, we need to be prepared for the long haul. So even 7 months of not seeing a change is a little bit premature in some books. So most people, I try to have them prepared for at least a year of being faithful with that before we pull the plug and say this isn't helping at all. Now, granted, you still need to have other avenues to try along the way. You can't wait it out. We have to deal with the problem at hand. But that just sometimes can be a little bit early before we give it up and throw in the towel on that.
Oh, okay.
So for me, for the long-term solutions, when we have a pet that we've tried a lot of different allergy problems, a lot of different approaches, for me, I'm a firm believer in dealing with things like diet and going with a hypoallergenic diet. Mm-hmm. That is one of the number one strategies, especially if we don't see great improvement with steroids. That is a number one thing, and it takes a lot of tough love. It takes training the people in the household that we cannot give little treats and biscuits and other foods. We have to stay very stringent with a food allergy trial.
Yeah.
So for me, that would be
too. We've got her off all grains. We'd give her more proteins. I also give her like chicken breasts, or if we're having a beef, I'll give her some beef or lamb or fish.
Okay. That is not a hypoallergenic diet at all. So if we want to be serious about a food allergy diet, we really need to be there's two different approaches. One is we do a hydrolyzed protein diet, or we do a limited ingredient diet. Those are the ways that we deal with food allergies. It's not just changing brands. It's not going to grain-free. Those are great ideas, but they really don't treat it 100%. So you got the right idea. I would just want to make sure that we're really getting the true idea. Now, if I have a pet on a food allergy diet, say it's a prescription food by company A, and we feed that, and I say, I'm eating a little pizza. I'm throwing my dog a crust of pizza. You just ruined all that money you're spending on that special diet.
Yeah.
Because that effect really can take many weeks to get that little crust of pizza crust out of her immune system, if you will. So you really have to be ready with a food allergy diet for 8 weeks of being very strict, sticking to the food. And for me, I'm a big fan of the hydrolyzed diets, which kind of different brands are out there. Purina has one, Science Diet has one, but those are sold through your veterinarian. So you really would want to talk to them about that. There's other approaches with the limited ingredient diets. Those used to be things like lamb and rice, which we did, decades ago. It used to be a great limited ingredient diet, but it's in a lot of foods, so pets have been exposed to it. And with this type of diet, we want to stick to maybe one protein source and one carbohydrate source. So you don't really want to be adding things into those diets. It's really important to stick with that. Now, some other things, long-term approaches that I'll look at will be other causative factors with a pet that has allergies. Thyroid problems, not uncommon in some breeds of dog, and we can have a low thyroid that can make them have more difficulties with the skin problems and more recurring problems. So if you haven't had your baby screened for a thyroid problem, that would be a wise choice as well. And then really, as far as, I guess I can't stress enough the surface of the skin, what's going on in there and what we can do, whether it be an antifungal, antibiotic, treat really what is on your pet's skin surface, and that might give us a little bit more relief in symptoms, and also kind of get us more comfortable and get you guys sleeping. In regards to antihistamines, there's a lot of different ones out there. Some will help the baby sleep better at night as well, because they do have some sedative quality. And if you've tried out most of the human ones, sometimes I'll even go to the human varieties, things like Zyrtec. But, again, always using that with your veterinarian's recommendation and dose recommendations there.
Okay, well, that's great.
A lot of information there, Dina.
There is, and I've tried a couple of things. I don't know if there's anything I could just put on her feet at night so she'll get some sleep. And then attack the other ideas with the diet.
Yeah. And as far as for anything that might help just topically, it really is going to depend a bit on what's going on the skin surface. If you do have inflammation, if there's redness, in many cases getting a topical spray that's not oily, but more of a water or alcohol base that has an anti-inflammatory like betamethasone in it, that would be a very good thing to kind of help take some of that itch down right before bedtime.
That was betamethasone?
Betamethasone, yeah. It's a type of steroid, and given topically, it can be very helpful. Just kind of curbs that itch. It's a temporary thing. So,
okay. Yeah, just something to kind of get her through, and then try to change these diets a bit, and then I'll meet with the vet again.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much for your call.
Well, great, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're listening to Animal Radio. If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hi, this is John Grogan. I'm the author of Marley and Me. And I just hope that everybody can find a dog to love and to keep that dog in their family for their whole life.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too. A cat in Columbus, Ohio helped save the life of his owner by dialing 911. Police aren't sure how to explain it, but they received a 911 call with no one on the line, so they sent over help. When they got there, Tommy, an orange and tan striped cat, was lying by the telephone. His owner, Gary Roshison, was on the floor near his bed where he had fallen out of his wheelchair and he couldn't reach his medical alert necklace. Roshison said he had tried to teach Tommy to dial 911 on the speed dial before, but he wasn't sure if the training stuck. Police officer Patrick Dougherty says he knows it sounds kind of weird, but he can't seem to find any other explanation. Roshison just calls Tommy his hero. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio. Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you use insulin or have had hypoglycemic events, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. That's 800-434-5019.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hi, is it Tiana? Tiana? What
Tiana.
Tiana? Hi, Tiana. How are you doing?
Fantastic. And yourself?
Oh, splendid. What's going on?
I have a 9-month-old English Mastiff puppy, and she jumps like a Mustang, and it is killing me. I got her when she was about 5 months, and she kind of came doing that, and I've been really strict trying to train her, and she generally won't do it like to me, but to my partner most of all when she's getting fed. And now she's about 110 pounds. Before she was only like 60, 70. It wasn't so bad, but it was still a lot. Now she's getting bigger, and I'm afraid because she knocks us over.
Well, might I say, first of all, Tiana, that is a gorgeous name, and I like it so much I'm going to take it from you, and from now on I want you folks to address me as Tiana Cable. Thank you so much. That is a gorgeous name. But, it's funny when a person gets a dog when they're little and they're puppies and they're jumping on you and you think, oh, they love me, they like me. Actually, when a dog jumps on you, what a dog is doing is invading your space and disrespecting you and taking you over. So it's not really happiness and love. It's disrespectful. So to teach your dog not to jump on people, you said when you feed the dog jumps on your partner. You're going to have to stand there you're going to have to learn to be quiet and stand still a lot. Can you do that? Can you be quiet and stand still a lot? I'm talking for like a minute on the clock. Both of you have to learn to do this. Do you think you can do that?
Yeah, that'll be something we can do.
Okay, what you're going to want to do is whenever your dog jumps on you, you're going to take a firm step forward and use a word, whatever word it may be. For me, it's, hey, hey. You take a firm step forward to where you almost knock the dog over, okay? And you say, hey. And that way you're taking your space back. And you're going to do that every time the dog jumps on you. And then you're just going to stand there silently looking straight ahead. Don't look at your dog. Don't talk to your dog. Now, at feeding time, when you take the dog's food, you take the dish, you put the food in the dish, and you stand there with the dish. You don't say anything. You don't do anything. You just look ahead with the food, and you do not put that food down until the dog becomes totally calm. And you might have to stand there for a minute or 2 or 3 on the clock, but you don't put the food until the dog is calm. Then when you do put the food down, you don't let the dog go at it immediately. You stand in front of it. And just look ahead, stand in front of it. If he tries to run around you, you change direction and herd him away. You take total control of the food, and you don't let the dog have the food until he's calm and until you give him the go-ahead. And use a hand signal for the go-ahead. Don't use the word okay. Use a hand signal. Point at the food. Your dog will totally understand it's okay to eat now. But you've got to be consistent, and your partner's got to take her space back and teach the dog to respect her. Does that make sense to you?
It totally does. Like, we have a boy also. He's 2, and she did really, really good with him. It's just this puppy. I don't know, this dog is crazy. And she's been that way, like, since she came. We have other dogs, and she's trained them all that exact same way. We put the food down. They don't move until we let them know it's okay to eat. But this puppy, she's kind of, okay.
She's got a lot of energy. Tiana, she's got a lot of energy. You know, when people go to buy dogs, what do people do? They walk in the pet store, and they pick the dog that's the most lunatic. You know, he's wagging his tail, he's jumping around, he's shaking back and forth, and people go, oh, he likes me, I want that one. Well, see, actually, that dog is just very, very excited. And when you pick a dog out, you got to pay attention to the excitement level of the dog. You'll see some dogs are just sitting there, and they're not doing anything, and people are like, oh, I don't want that one, he doesn't like me. But in reality, you might want that dog because he's already calm and mellow. So you don't have to teach him to be calm and mellow. With an excited dog, you have to teach the dog to mellow out. And it's a little bit of work. It's a little bit of work.
Yeah, it's feeling like a lot of work. My daughter has cerebral palsy, and every time she walks away, she's 8. And the puppy jumps up and pushes her in her back with her front paws.
So here's how you stop it, girl. Here's how you stop it. You know the dog is going to do it. So you have your daughter turn to walk away. As soon as the dog makes his move, you step right in front and go, hey! And you poke him in the neck gently with your fingers, like your teeth or your fingers. You poke him, and you walk right in front of him, and you move him back. And you teach the dog to respect people's spaces. So you have to be alert. You have to watch what's going on and be there to make the correction. So the best thing to do is keep your dog locked up until you're ready to work with him in that way, to give him the exercise. So you're going to call your daughter into the room. You're going to say, okay, we're going to do it now. So then your daughter starts to walk away. You're ready. The dog makes his move. You step in front. Hey! And you take away the space. You don't let him invade your daughter's space. And you're going to teach him with routine and consistency and calm energy that, no, you're not allowed to invade people's spaces and jump on them. That is not behavior that I want. And that's how you do it.
This question's answer should be obviously like with our other dogs, make sure they're not in the same room, correct?
Yeah, well, if the other dogs are contributing, I'd have to be there to see it. But sometimes dogs are instigators. And you might have a dog that's calmer than you think, and the other dog is getting them all revved up.
Okay.
So, yeah, you want the other dog. Yeah, you have to work with them individually. And, again, like I always tell people, you've got to walk your dogs every day. It all starts with the walk. The walk is so important. Yeah, and make sure he's not in front of you. Make sure he's not in front of you pulling on the leash. He's on your side.
Right. If you walk right,
oh, she's crapping out. I'm sorry. Tiana Cable can no longer hear you, but I know you're going to do a great job. Just be calm and be consistent and teach your dog rules.
And thanks for calling.
My name's Tiana.
Don't know what you're drinking today.
Well, Dr. Debbie, I just got a big old whiff of you. My Dr. Debbie in the morning 4 a.m. coffee blend.
Check out Animal Radio highlights. All the good stuff without the blah, blah, blah. Browse on over to animalradio.pet.
I'm Emmylou Harris. Keeping a dog on a chain or in a pen is about the worst thing a person can ever do to him. It goes against everything a dog is: social, a pack animal, eager to please. Chaining a dog hurts his body and his mind. It's actually a form of animal abuse. A terrible punishment for just being born. Please look out for any dog penned or chained. Talk to people about how to keep a dog inside. Make him part of the family. Everyone will be happier. Thank you for being a dog's best friend.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you use insulin or have had hypoglycemic events, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. That's 800-434-5019.
This is Glenn Close on Animal Radio, urging you to spay or neuter your pet.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Stacey Cohen for Animal Radio. 4 Miami men are taking a page from the Bible. According to the Miami Herald, Rodolfo Almira and his 3 friends have begun to build a replica of Noah's Ark. So he followed measurements that have been laid out in the Bible. He and his 3 buddies set out to make the Ark a reality. In the 6 months since they've started, the foursome have managed to erect the 3-story ship's lower deck. But this little project hasn't been without its setbacks. Almira has been slapped with building code violations. How do you slap a building code violation on something that was got the plans laid from the Bible? I mean, what? The windows are not up to code? Well, people were a little smaller back then. The group is also running short of money, and Almira estimates that the Ark could cost a total of $1.5 million. When the project is complete, he's hoping it'll contain a museum as well as a small zoo. Veterinarians are warning Colorado dog owners about the possibility of their animals overdosing on pot edibles, like, marijuana cookies and brownies and things like that. First of all, keep the chocolate away. The pot, too, I'm assuming. Health officials say they've seen a steady rise in marijuana toxicity cases as this drug becomes more readily available. A recent study in the official journal of the Veterinary Emergency and Critical Care Society reported 125 cases in the Denver area. Severe symptoms can include vomiting, tremors, urinary incontinence, and even death, as well as your dog kicking back going, "Hey, give me some more kibble, man. That looks pretty good. And that ball, that's awesome. Let's go kick it around, man. Dude." When your dog says dude, you know you're in trouble. Okay, a year and a half ago, Ruth London was in intensive care in a hospital in Boca Raton, Florida. She had pneumonia. She was just out of it. She was hallucinating that she was in jail. But then her husband had a great idea. He said, bring in the family dog, Delilah. It was a little white Maltese, and see if the pet could calm his wife down. Well, in the hospital room, that dog ran to Mrs. London's side, nuzzled her hand, and she came right out of that delirium right away. So they've decided that it's really a good thing to allow a pet into the hospital room. It helps people, especially older people. And the University of Maryland Medical Center in Baltimore actually lets family pets visit their owners as long as they have certain requirements that are met. And a dozen other medical centers across the country are doing the same thing. In the end, officials decided that the benefits, comfort, and reduced stress for patients were more substantial than any of the risks. I'm Stacey Cohen. Get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
Hi, this is Betty White. All us animal lovers love Animal Radio. Please help every way you can to make life better for our animals.
Portions of today's show are a repeat from an earlier broadcast.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
It's Animal Radio. We are celebrating a connection with our pets. I got to tell you, I'm a little self-conscious right now. I was just checking our tweet feed, which I'm starting to do during the show right now. Apparently, I'm not. I stutter a little bit, I guess. I don't know. Pretty Plus More writes, I think the guy on Animal Radio might have just had a mild stroke on the air. See a doc ASAP. So, Pretty Plus More, thank you for your concern. I'm just fine, I think. Right? Judy, am I okay?
You're your usual. Whether that's okay or not, I won't go so far.
This is how we normally sound.
Yeah, that's
here.
normal for Hal.
Yeah. This portion of Animal Radio is brought to you by Wall Home Pet Products. Can we give this away right now?
Go ahead.
Oh, this is very cool. Wall has given us a lithium-ion rechargeable pet clipper kit to give away to an individual. If you'd like to pick up on this, and then you don't have to take your pet anymore to Joey Villani and get charged those tremendous prices.
He's expensive.
He really is.
But he's worth it.
They're so bad.
He's worth it. He's worth every penny, Joey.
And why isn't he defending himself?
Yes.
He's out today, by the way.
So we can talk about it.
We can talk.
He's out well. He's out well.
Yes, he is. He isn't sick. This rechargeable pet clipper kit has a self-sharpening high-carbon steel blade. I want you to notice right here. I wish this was TV so you could see our very own Vanna White in the studio.
Showing it off.
Demonstrating
Can I come in the studio and see it? Because, with this Bob Barker microphone, I'm actually in a different room.
We actually have to put you in a different room because it's like, what, a 6-foot microphone is what you have?
Actually 16 feet, 34 inches.
It's growing.
Wow.
Oh, you wish.
we're talking about a microphone, by the way. You know who we have on the phone? This is cool. A comedian from Boston, Brian Donnelly, is joining us. Hey, Brian, how are you doing?
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Very good. Very good. Well, you're the only comedian that I know that's actually using your dog in your act.
Yeah, somewhat.
He's sort of like your. Is he the straight dog in the act? How does that work?
Yeah, he is our comedy muse. For some reason, ever since we got BT in November, I feel like we've been pushing out better stuff than the 5+ years I've been in Boston.
Did you say BT?
BT.
Yeah.
That's the name?
That's his name? BT. For Boston Terrier.
Oh, that's creative.
That's very unoriginal, I gotta say. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be honest here.
The best is people are like, what's the name? And I'm like, BT. And they're like, what's that stand for? And I was like, you're gonna hate me when I say it. It's for Boston Terrier.
Well, I noticed.
Brian, Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, what gave you the idea? I mean, you're sitting around the apartment, you're looking at your dog, you've got a great act already. Like, what gave you the idea to put the dog in the act?
Honestly, he is. I've never had a Boston Terrier before. He just has almost like a human personality. So, when we started writing stuff, actually, we're working on getting some more stuff written and filming it with him, but basically making him the focal point for a couple of our sketches, which is great.
Well, you have a web series, is that correct?
Yeah, right now. We just launched one a few weeks ago. It's called StepFriendz. It's about two guys who. It's me and my friend, a buddy of mine from up here, Mike Viraggio, and it's about two guys who grew up as best friends, and then I go ahead and I married his mother. And now I'm his stepfather. And it's just this, but honestly, the first 5 we've done barely explore that. And it's just like these just dumb ideas that we figured that was a good connector between the whole thing. But the other ones we're shooting are going to do more flashbacks.
Where can we find these?
If you check out, if you go to Facebook, probably Facebook, if you look up StepFriendz, it's facebook.com/StepFriendz with a Z. Just StepFriendz, all one word with a Z. There's a few out, and then we actually have some other sketches that are more like Boston. There's one we did about Fenway Park that it looks like a sports documentary, but it turns out it's about this Popeye's chicken that's by Fenway. It's worth giving it a look.
Okay, we'll link to that from animalradio.com. Now, I noticed in your press release, you mentioned the very same thing that happens to me on my phone. All the pictures on my damn phone are of my cats and my dogs. There's not a human to be found. This is obviously the same with you, right?
We funny enough, just this morning, my wife and I were walking to grab a cup of coffee, and we found this. Never even noticed it was there. Walked in this part of in Somerville, which is like right outside of Boston. Walked around this area all the time and noticed this huge. I guess it's like some type of like fuse box or something like that, like some big piece of city machinery or whatever. And there's this huge Boston Terrier you're painting on it. So we took a picture of BT sitting next to that. So it looks, I just put that on Instagram. It's like everything is just either, my dog or, inane pictures of other junk around the city.
So, Brian, what does BT do in the act? I mean, is it like he sit there, watch you tell jokes, and then roll over and play dead when you bomb, or what does he do?
Well, in these ones, in the StepFriendz ones we have now, the last one he's in it, but for the most part, in the other ones, he's going to be. We have this one that we're going to film where basically he becomes where the idea is that I adopt a dog, and then the dog ends up becoming basically my master, and the dog kind of bosses me around, and like we get a crate for the dog, and it ends up like having me sleep in the crate and stuff like that. So that's kind of where it's at now.
That's funny.
I am glad that you're bringing him into the act there. I hope you're splitting the commission there, or splitting whatever you get.
Well, I feel like he has the best deal in the house now anyway.
Does he have an agent? Because Hal would like to be his agent.
I think he'd love it.
Well, Brian, we appreciate you joining us today, and give BT a big old hug from all of us, if you will.
I will. Thanks for having me.
Okay, there you go. Is he gone? Okay, I just want to mention, have you ever noticed comics, generally in the morning, they're not very funny. In the evening, they're really, really funny. But in the mornings, they're just, I don't know, it has something to do with all the nightclubs.
Alcohol.
Maybe I'm having another stroke.
I don't think he came out of the first one.
How could we tell? That's the thing. How would we know?
Exactly.
Before we go, I want to mention that next weekend we have Emmy Lou Harris. Is that correct?
The one and only.
This will be her second time on Animal Radio, and she's having a concert called Woofstock, and she'll be joining us and telling us about that all next week right here on Animal Radio.
Hi, this is Carrie Annie Naba from Dance with the Stars. Don't forget to spay and neuter your animals, and you're listening to Animal Radio.
Thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing. If you've written a book, they can help you through the process, cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If they decide to publish your book, your work ends, theirs begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art. Plus, get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and in bookstores across the country. They even help promote your book. Biography, self-help, mystery, novels, sci-fi, or even a children's book. No matter what genre, Page Publishing can bring your book to life. And don't forget to ask about audiobooks. We do all of this for you. Call today for your free writer's guide packed with tips, tricks, and templates to help you finish what you started.
800-215-6815. 800-215-6815. 800-215-6815. That's 800-215-6815.
If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Patrick. Hey, Patrick, how are you?
I'm okay. Thanks for taking my call.
Of course. Where are you calling from today?
I'm in Iowa today.
Hey, and what can we do for you?
Well, I have this dog. She's 4 years old, about 4 years, 3 months old. I've had her for 4 years, and I drive a truck for a living, so we spend a lot of time in a semi-truck, which she does really well. But when we go home and in my car, she's just a spastic. I'm afraid she's going to have a puppy stroke one of these days.
Do you get in the car with her, just like you do the truck?
Oh, yeah. Like if we go, she always wants to get in a car, but once that car gets to moving, she's just running back and forth, crying and whining and screaming, and just it's frightening.
How big is your dog? What kind of dog you got?
She's a Schnauzer and Yorkie mix, about 21, 22 pounds.
You know, it's really, really cool. My suggestion for you really quick is just to put a crate in there. Put your dog in a crate in the car, okay? If you want to do it really quickly, and then just take off and see what she does. If she acts all calm in the crate, you're good to go. If she gets all crazy in the crate, don't talk to her. Don't look at her. Don't pay any attention. Only give her attention when she's quiet. And if she does go crazy in the crate, then what you want to do to teach her to ride in cars is, again, keep your car parked in the driveway and sit in the car with your dog. Don't even move the car. Just sit in the car. And when the dog mellows out, you tell her, good dog. And then you start the car and you sit in the driveway. And when the dog mellows out, you tell her, good dog. And then you take a trip around the block and you progress it from there. But try a crate, because the truck rides differently from a car, and she might be getting just motion sickness and fear because of all the windows, which a truck doesn't have all those windows. It's like a traveling house. It's like a traveling house, so she probably doesn't get that sense of movement in the truck like she does in the car. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you might have something there, because it seems like if we just take a cruise down to the lake and drive around slow, she's not as bad. But when I go on highway speeds, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, she's afraid of the sounds, the G-forces, the instability of the turning. So, put her in a crate. Put a crate in the car, anchor the crate so the crate can't move. And I bet you she'll be really cool inside the crate and calm and confident in the crate.
Well, that's a great idea. I could put that crate on the back of the Harley, too, then, right?
Oh, see, now that would be a different thing. That would be, you'd have to really get your dog acclimated to that slowly, baby steps, because you could freak her out real easily.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that idea with the crate, that sounds like a pretty logical idea, actually.
Yeah, it's all logic with dogs. When you take the emotion out of it and you really start to watch them and pay attention to their bodies and what they're doing, you can figure out whether they're happy or they're afraid or whether they're getting anxious or fearful, and then you can act accordingly. It's people's emotions get in the way. People's human emotions get in the way of them being good dog trainers.
Right. Well, hey, I appreciate that advice. I'm going to do that. I'm going to try that.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Take care, Patrick. Drive carefully. Let's head to line 4. Is that correct, Judy?
Yes,
and
let's take that caller.
Deborah on for Alan. Hey, Deborah. Thanks for waiting on hold there.
Yes, you're welcome. I have a question about my Boston Terrier.
What's going on?
Go ahead, Deb.
Yeah,
I'm listening, Deb. I'm Dr. Fraser Crane here. I'm listening.
Okay. All right. I drive a truck long distance, and while we're out on the road, he does great. But when we go home for time off, he decides to urinate in the house. I don't know what to do about it.
And, Deb, here's the thing. Your dog might be a little confused. Do you have a routine when you get home? Do you have a routine for taking your dog out? Do you take him out certain times during the day?
Yes, he has the backyard's fenced in, so, he goes out constantly.
But do you take him out personally?
No, I don't.
All right, sweetie, here's what you need to do. So dogs pee in the house for just a couple of different reasons. It seems complicated, but a lot of times it's either separation anxiety, they're marking their territory, they can't hold it, they get excited, or they're being submissive. And the best way to eliminate that is to put your dog on a schedule and take him out at distinct times during the day. So you would basically, after he eats, take him out. First thing in the morning, take him out. Before he goes to bed, take him out. And a couple of times scattered during the day. Don't wait for the dog to tell you he needs to go out. Take him out on a leash. And as soon as he starts going outside, tell him what a good dog he is. Have you been reprimanding him or punishing him when he goes in the house?
Yes, he's putting time out.
Yeah, don't punish him when he goes in the house, because a lot of times they don't know why they're being punished. They don't make the connection. Sometimes when you punish a dog in the house for going to the bathroom, they think you're punishing them because they're going to the bathroom in front of you. So it's kind of like you got to take them outside and spend more time praising them and rewarding them, much less time punishing them. It works way better when you praise and you reward a dog than when you punish a dog, because it confuses them. They don't know why they're being punished much of the time. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
All right, girl, you try that out and keep on trucking. Hey, before you go, what are you hauling?
I got on medical supplies today.
Oh, that's beautiful. How much can I have?
Have to find me first.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, girl.
You have a good day. Thanks.
Thanks for your call, Deborah. Well, that's all we have time for today. It just blew by. I want to thank Brian Donnelly for joining us, as well as Heidi Huebner. Am I pronouncing her last name right?
Huebner.
Huebner. Thank you so much, Heidi, for being on Animal Radio. Don't forget you can get your fix of Animal Radio over at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone or Android. It's free, and you can ask your questions right from the application. Check out Dr. Debbie's books Yorkshire Terrier, Shih Tzus, Pugs, Mini Schnauzers, how to be your dog's best friends, and of course Joey Villani's line of waterless shampoos, all of them over at animalradio.com. We'll see you next week for more Animal Radio right here on this fine station.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This is Animal Radio
Network.